Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, and we are here with the next installment of HoGaLe's. Now, you will notice we are two rather than three. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Now, we know that the clocks are changing, all of that stuff, but from what I understand, the clocks in America go back tomorrow, Sunday. Today, of course,
like 2 in the morning or something.
Like 2 in the morning. So we'll have to find out. We're just hoping Lady G will join us. Lena's here now. Lena's clocks, of course, to complicate things, have actually gone forward. Because she's in Australian spring, summertime, and I, of course, the poor one here in the middle. I had to figure all of this out.
I know.
Back and all of this kind of stuff.
We have 2 critical points in the year doing our work when the daylight saving kicks in and goes off, and there's always a week of drama either side trying to work it all out.
Absolutely. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly send Lady G a message. I'm dropping a WhatsApp.
She's the most reliable of all of us.
Exactly. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, as you guys know, I've only missed 2 shows. One was because years back I went to see a friends in a concert, and the other one, as we know, sadly, someone threw themselves under a train. Do you remember that one? I couldn't make the show.
Yes, it was awful.
Lady G has only missed one. So,
and she was having surgery or something.
And that was because she was having her thyroid taken out. That's the only time. So let me just give her, excuse me, Lena, feel free to entertain the crowd while I
thank you so much. Well,
what are your travels and how are you finding things? 1 minute.
Well, I've got back now from South America, and I am in Bondi as we speak, and tomorrow I'll be going home to Melbourne. But I just want to share a little interesting thing with you guys generally. When I was in Argentina and I'd say something about America or Americans and the political system or American in any context, and they would always say, please say North Americans, right? They're quite sensitive to that, right? We say America like it's the whole continent, and it's point that out. And I'd like to give a shout out to Igor and Alan, who came quite a long way to visit me last night. They're YouTube viewers. Thanks, guys. We had a great time.
Yeah, it's always nice meeting people as well. I often meet clients when they come, if they happen to be coming through London. I always try and have a meet up if I can, and it's great. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so Lena, I've WhatsApped Lady G just to see that she's all right, because honestly, she is as consistent as the sun. So I'm a bit worried that.
Are you sure she's on WhatsApp?
Yeah, she is. I just sent her a WhatsApp now, so let's see if she's going to show up. Hopefully she will. Thank you for everyone joining us. You're all piling in. It's going to be a 2-hander at the moment. We'll wait to see what happens with Lady G. But before we begin the show,
yes,
here it is in here, and my God, we've got some juicy questions, Lena.
Oh, goody.
Our little dance, we might get some emails. We have to see what happens. Yeah. But as you know, now look, I want your opinion. I want your opinion on this, Lena. I want your opinion on this. George Santos,
Jorge
escapes. Well, whatever his real name is, who knows? He may not even be American. Anyway, George Santos.
Go on.
Yeah, well, I think he managed to buy in the marriage, didn't he? Managed to get the papers that way. But George Santos, as we know, absolute utter charlatan. That's the politest words I can find. Naked charlatan. Managed to avoid, of course, not being voted out. And the thing that stuck in my craw although many people wrote to me to say, listen, you know, the Dems, blah, blah, blah. But as we know, 31 Dems voted that he should face due process and stuff like that. Now, before I talk about my feelings on that and the little survey that I did for the audience, what are your thoughts and feelings, Lena? Douse me with your wisdom.
I doubt I'm very wise this early in the morning. I've only had one coffee. But I think this is an illustration of the damage that Trump did by refusing to go, right? This is the problem now globally, because people used to be embarrassed into resigning or have a bit of an arm twist behind the scenes with their party or whatever, and they would go. Now they all hang on, and the legal system's so slow, they can milk another 4 or 5 years out of whatever they're doing. It's a real problem. But I've always said, George,
do you feel the Dems? Yeah, no, go on.
I think if and when he goes to jail, he's one of those guys who'll rip off the other prisoners. You know what I mean? They'll buy into a pyramid scheme or something that he launches when he's inside.
Do you feel the Dems made, those Dems that voted to keep him in due process, and they were talking about this other guy, forgive me, his name's Raskin, isn't it? Raskin. Do you feel that was the right call?
It's so hard to. So the Dems generally take this line of sticking by what is right and dignified and procedural. And I understand that argument in abstract, but these are times where it no longer serves you to be just decent at every turn. Be decent most of the time, but this was a chance to actually act on something. But I'm sure that they've got their rationale that would lead to all sorts of other things before someone's convicted, etc. But surely he's been convicted of something by this time. Yeah. Surely.
And he's already admitted to some of the crimes. Do you remember, in order not to be extradited to, where was it, Brazil, he admitted to wire fraud, trying to steal someone's identity and creating a fake charity, do you remember, for the dog that was dying, and he stole the money.
Yes.
You know, right, okay. So, Lena, I'm glad you said that, and don't worry, guys, we will start the show, but I need to get this out.
Yeah, by all means.
When I heard, now I only found out about this as you know, on my Thursday fry up on a live show. Now you know what it's like, Lena. Well, actually. No,
I don't do lives, but yeah, go on.
Right, exactly, because you're a very sensible person.
Well, I can't do two things at once, but there we go.
When you're in a live show, I mean, it is a state of vulnerability, because your consciousness has to be so open, and you're very suggestible at that time anyway. So I heard that, of course, that he got off. What I didn't know, what people shared with me in the live comments, was that 31 Dems, you know, now they say, look, it wouldn't have changed the outcome, etc., all of this stuff. And many people have come forward with their reasonings and stuff like that. And thank you guys for that, for sharing your opinions. And I tried not to roast people too much, but let me just tell you, I was so livid. I honestly, the next day I was seething and boiling like Krakatoa about to go off. I had to walk around Victoria Park twice to calm down, because this is my stance on this. And I agree with you, Lena. There are times where due process must be observed. There's times where you play nicey, you play the long game, you know, what have you. First of all, there's not enough time. They can't make these assumptions that there's going to be time. Apparently, his case is not due until October of next year, from what I understand. So that means he's got a year to carry on and foment and facilitate the wickedness. Yeah. What I say is this as well. Remember your horror movies, folks. Remember, when Count Dracula is in a vulnerable place and he can't quite get back to his whatever, and the sun is rising, imagine this. the GOP, the members of the GOP had almost a sun-rising moment where a brief moment of sanity was coming to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then rather than getting the stake out, hammering it through Count Dracula's heart on this occasion, what do? They do a virtue signal. Kumbaya, everybody.
Yes.
Kumbaya.
Yes.
Good. We will not fall. We will take the high road when they take the low road. Kumbaya.
Yes.
What?
Yes, it drives me insane constantly. Australia only grew up and got interesting. Oh, Lady G.
You've made it, darling. We were worried about you. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I was taking the dogs out for a walk. I had the time wrong.
Forgivable.
Not to worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to worry, but you are looking fabulous.
Sensational as always.
Looking
I'm
sensational.
A little haphazard because I wasn't expecting it, but that's okay.
Not to worry. Will you be able to turn your volume up by any chance?
I'll try.
Let's see if you can turn your volume up.
I don't think so. Hold on, let me move this closer.
Closer, yeah, closer will do it. That
While
sounds a bit
Lady G's doing that, I'll just finish my point on the dignified approach versus, going to the mat. So Australia in the 80s had been a very conservative society forever, and then we had a couple of killer, in a good way, prime ministers, and they would savage the opposition, but in a dignified way, quotable quotes, a soundbite before it was called a soundbite. Okay, and what happened was, very quickly, the Conservatives were terrified of going up against these guys, right? Because they knew they'd be smacked down in 2 sentences. That's what the Dems need to do. You don't have to say things that are untrue, etc., but they need to clap back.
Yeah.
More mongrel.
Indeed. And I'm going to share. I did a survey because I had to calm down, and I was like, Hoagie, you can't just roast everyone in the comments, whatever. As angry as I may be, people do see things from a different side. But I had steam coming out of my ears. So, Lady G, just so you know what we're talking about before we start formally with the show, talking about George Santos, whichever version of himself he is. And obviously, giving the stay of execution. But when I learned live on my live show that 31 Democrats, voted for due process to happen, I mean, my eye hit the roof. Before I share the survey, what's your perspective on that? How do you feel about that, Lady G? Do you feel like they made the right choice?
No, he needs to be gone. He needs to be gone, and the only reason he isn't is because they want his vote.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, too, there used to be a clause in every politician, at least in Australia, bringing the party into disrepute.
Yes.
Used to be a thing. It didn't have to be a legal case that takes 4 years.
You still have it in the UK.
Yeah. Bringing the party into disrepute. Well, Boris shouldn't have survived half an hour. They don't always exercise it. But you know what I mean. There should be something that could even be appealed in some way. But if it's been pointed out over and over and over, not just one thing, it's not just a story about this guy or something. It's one thing after the other.
Ethics committee and stuff like that. So someone's saying ethics is rewarded. And they will vote him off the island legally. Yeah, let's see.
Okay. Maybe that's what they meant by due process.
Well, that's the thing. So I'm going to share the survey. So what I did was I surveyed my community to see their thoughts. I needed some kind of objective feedback to make sure that I wasn't being an reactionary loony bin. Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. First time I've done it on the live show, folks. So let's hopefully this will work. And let me just see if it's going to give me the options. And then if I go here, let me know, ladies, as well, if you can see it as well. First time I've done this on a live show, folks, so let's cross our fingers. Hopefully nothing crashes. Let's see. So it should be showing. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Can you see the screen, ladies?
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to scroll down. So here I did here's the survey. So I did this yesterday. George Santos, the disgraced, fraudulent, criminal and illegitimate congressman, because remember, everyone knew he was illegitimate from the start because he cheated.
That's the other
He cheated. So there's no ambiguity about that. He should never have been anyway, calm down, Hoagie. An illegitimate congressman was saved from expulsion from Congress. It is said that 31 Democrats voted to save him, citing precedent and due process. I'd like to know your thoughts on this, dear audience. So as you can see, I asked, yes, those Dems called it right, 20%. Next, I'm not sure. I see the argument on both sides, 16%, but a rounding 64% answered no, this grace should not have been extended to Santos. So I just wanted to share that
thank
with
you
everyone. Let me just do this. Let me just put the let's just do the stop share bit. Oh God, how do I?
While you're doing that, Vivian says in the comments, will America ever get rid of Trump and Trumpism?
Oh, there you are.
So I'm just saying, Vivian, you need to post your questions. It's the community tab, isn't it, Hogarth?
Yeah, it's the community tab.
The community tab for the next week. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what I print out here, folks, and stuff like that. So anyway, let's start the show. But I'm glad that I have the support there, because 64% of people were like, it was probably, but I respect as well the arguments, what's been said. But my whole thing is this: if you have a chance to put the stake through Count Dracula's heart, it is better to do it, because once night falls again, you're in big trouble. Anyway, right. Enough said, Hoagie. Enough. So moving on. Exactly, moving on. So Roxanne M was asking, what does it mean for all of us that Saturn has turned direct? So Saturn is turning direct on November 4th, but he's moving very, very slowly. He's not going to pick up speed, and really until the back end of December, going into January 2024. But what it means is things that may have been held up in your life and things that may have been moving slowly can now actually move forward as well. So it's not always, it's actually quite a good thing when Saturn moves direct, but he's not going to pick up speed. So that energy is still that we have at the moment of review, revise, reassess is still here. Anyway, right. Let's move on now. Manuela Orchid has asked, hello, my lovelies. I just wondered if Iran gets stopped in their actions and warnings, and if a ceasefire will be ordered in Gaza. Thank you all, and much love from Germany. So basically, they're talking really here, I think, about the machinations potentially of Iran in the Gaza situation, and will a ceasefire be ordered? So maybe let's just read on that. Will there be a ceasefire?
Oh, someone says, good point. I'm not as steamed up about George Santos as I am about Tuberville, because he's that Tommy Tuberville or whatever his name. One man holding up the entire country.
That I just find mind-boggling. It's clear. I actually, on my Thursday show, read on Tuberville, someone was asking if he's a Russian asset, and all the Russia cards came out. It's that for me is really, really dark, really dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He's not that big a fish. Santos isn't the biggest fish as Tuberville. Oh, you said wow, Lena, did you?
Yeah. Do you want me to go? Because
Go for it.
5 cards, 3 majors.
Wow.
Not surprising, because potentially we're talking about the entire world being dragged into this one way and another. Okay, the center card is strength, and I think it's speaking to, it requires strength of character, strength of commitment and conviction to call for this and insist that a ceasefire goes forward. There's a strength card there. Underneath the wheel of fortune, tick, 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 right? As if that wasn't enough, the devil card, right?
Oh,
so
last card we want to see.
Yes, not good. And speaking of Saturn, and time, and the relationship with Saturn and time, I think it will happen, but not soon. The swords are still raised on both sides, effectively. But the outcome card here was the Fool. Oh, 4 major arcana. So it's saying basically it's foolish not to have a ceasefire. It is naive to think that will work as a policy. The world is watching dying children covered in burns with no anesthetic, and the suffering all round, everywhere. And so the horror continues. So there needs to be a ceasefire. I think most sentient people realise that. However, with this, I'm not seeing it in the next 5 minutes. I'm really not.
Gosh.
I mean,
Lady
yes,
G,
it will happen, but,
yeah. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, at the center, we have the merchant, that's going to make money off of this in some way, shape, or form. The uber right, the radicals that continue to work on this. Going into it, we have the choices made, and this has become a big Pandora's.
Yeah. We've got a freeze.
Oh yeah, you've had a freeze. You've had a freeze, Lady G.
Did I freeze?
Yeah.
Pandora.
Okay, I think I was here. The people, they would like it. It's a Pandora's box, but they're tied up. And the challenge is what's being held on to. Nobody wants to face the loss. So again, above it, we have the tempering of the fishtails. So they're, going to continue to put out lies and propaganda. Those that are making money off of this, and the radicals that want to keep fueling it.
Oh gosh, it's so perplexing, isn't it? This whole scenario is just so utterly dreadful. And I think what's being revealed, as you know, I keep saying Pluto in Capricorn, but I think we realize just how many psychopaths are running the world, how many psychopaths are making decisions, how many people out there with bloodlust who just thirst for suffering, inflicting whatever they can. Look, it will end, folks. Don't worry. I mean, everything, even terrible things have to come to an end. But anyway, I'll read my cards. Thank you as well for everyone for joining us. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification. And the details of the ladies' channels as well are in the video description below. All right, what do I have? Look at this. King of Pentacles. So isn't this interesting? Isn't it interesting that a money card comes out? But this also deals with values as well. I can't help but thinking this might be a certain Netanyahu. Yeah, I just have the feeling. But this can also speak as well about maybe patriarchy and all of this kind of stuff. Earth cards, as Lena would say, also as well deal with values. But Earth cards can also be stubborn. They can speak of stubbornness, stubborn men here. Let's just put it that way, without trying to, to be fair. Stubborn men, are involved in this situation. What's the obstacle? Oh, looky here. How many times we talk about politics and we get the 10 of Cups come up? And we know when we're talking about 10 of Cups, when you're reading for normal people, this is a nice card. But when it's politics, it means what? The fake family. Yeah, fake. Stubborn men projecting these fake ideals, these fake beliefs. On one hand, you could say, Hamas has this fake or fantastical idea of what they could have. On the other side, you could say Israel has a fake or fantastical ideas of what they have. The whole situation for me is just, and it's these false ideals, people wanting unrealistic things, but it also shows as well who's suffering. The families. We all know it's the women and the children. I think they said, I think it's getting close to 9,000, if not more, Palestinians that have been killed now, and I think 2/3 are children. I'll just leave it there. PR disaster is what I would say. Anyway, if we look here in the middle, isn't that interesting as well? Just like with Lady G, we've got the smug merchant here. There are some perverse characters. There are really some perverse characters that are getting pleasure out of this. I think one of them, though, could be a certain Putinchka, don't you think, ladies? Yeah, someone looking on from the outside who's feeling smug about it, because now, of course, everyone is talking about the Middle East, and now hardly anyone is talking about Ukraine. Yeah, we all know. I read on this situation when the thing broke out 2 weeks ago, and Putin was clearly there as well, with a little bit of Xi Jinping thrown in as well for a bit of extra spice, along with Iran and Hezbollah and all that kind of stuff, for entertainment purposes only, but we all know it's true. What we need is sanity and reason to come into the room. We need cool heads. People aren't thinking. Everyone knows we need a ceasefire. Obviously, I mean, I know that Israel wants to eviscerate Hamas and stuff like that, but look at is this really helping the cause? I don't know if you guys know. Have you seen on Instagram? I think they're showing it on TikTok. Some people in Britain are protesting against McDonald's, saying that McDonald's are supporting Israel. Do you know what they're doing? They're going into McDonald's and they're letting boxes of mice loose in the restaurants. Have you seen this? You've got to see it. I was like, oh my God. And the mice were also painted in the colors of the Palestinian flag.
Oh my God.
And yeah, they're literally tossing them in there. And then McDonald's, because remember, McDonald's is a franchise. So the franchises that are in the Middle East, there are some people in Pakistan and other countries saying, by the way, we're not supporting Israel, just so you know, like each McDonald's is a franchise and it's unique to each business owner. So to say that McDonald's is doing this is wrong, but that's what they're doing. So anyway, if we look here, look at the outcome, the Page of Swords. Yeah, this can be the enemy in the camp and stuff like that. But you know who I think this is? I think this is a lot of the youth around the world who are reacting very, very strongly to what they're seeing. We've had protest after protest and stuff like that. And I would say most of the youth and the college peeps, they seem to be more on the side of Palestine. Don't shoot me for saying that. I'm just saying, reading it how it is. This is when you look at the news, you can see. So what I want to say is, when it comes to 2024, people need to join a few dots, because there's a lot of young people that are deeply, deeply unhappy with the situation right now. Ladies, what would you like to add to that?
Well, Julie McNeely in the comments said Jewish students are protesting for a ceasefire at the Capitol this weekend. And I just want to say, having come from Argentina too, this movement amongst Jewish people who are not supportive of the collective punishment are saying not in our name.
So that could explain that as well then.
So it's important that we don't lump people together on any side of the fence.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well said. Are we ready for the next question?
Absolutely. Hey, if you lose me, then my phone has run out of power. And for some reason, I have no power in here at the moment. I don't know if everything went down here or something came unplugged or what, but
okay.
If I disappear, that's what happened.
All right, bless you. Gosh, having a tricky one today. Right. So what are some of the things that are coming up? We're going to need to talk as well about Dr.Lena PP tapes. Do you remember that?
Yes.
People have been asking about that. So let's see here. So I think we'll save that one for later on. All right. Shall we do a Canada question?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. Let's do a Canada question. Now, I want to say in advance, now, I want to reach out and say thank you to all the sweet, nice Canadians that came to console me after some of us were disabused, shall we say. Disabused. We don't want to labor on it too much. But literally, I was accused of actually working for the far right media in Canada to undermine Trudeau. That's what someone actually said. Can you believe it? You know, when we had our laugh, yeah, you know, it's disgusting. Anyway, never mind. So no nasty email. No, you guys won't send any emails, but I found this intriguing. Now, this is a cold read. Maybe the ladies know about this one, but it's a total cold read for me. Now, let's find it. So this has come in from C. Kingsman. And so I don't know who this person is. So it says Buffy Sainte-Marie.
Oh, yes.
Was recently, oh, do you know who that is?
We know Buffy.
Right. I'm clueless. This is a cold read for me.
Okay. It's not cold for us. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Buffy Sainte-Marie was recently investigated by Canada's CBC as a pretendian. Oh my gosh, what a slur. Sainte-Marie is a national icon and tireless advocate for Indigenous peoples in North Africa. Well, they need a bit of North America, forgive me.
Thank you.
Well, they need as much help as they can get, I would imagine. Yet her birth certificate indicates that she was born to an Italian-American family in Massachusetts. Oops. What is the truth? Let's pull this.
And she used to wear remember the buckskin outfits and the jewelry. She was sensational.
She was my favorite. She was the first one I went to see in concert was Buffy Sainte-Marie. And I loved to do her music. And then to find this out, it was just devastating.
Wow. Wow. Let's see what the cards have to say. Total cold read for me. I've got no clue who she is.
That's good too.
Which is good, isn't it? But
you will have to check her out sometime.
All right, I'll check her out after this. To see who this person is.
And while I'm shuffling, Roxanne, yes, you're right. Argentina has the biggest Jewish community, I think, in South America.
Wow. All right. So is Buffy Sainte-Marie a fraud? Yeah. Is she actually from an Italian-American family in Massachusetts? Let's have a look.
Oh. Buffy.
I've got no idea. I'm just going to see what the cards say. So if we see, obviously, if we see this, what is it? If we see the Seven of Swords, which is the stealing card, then yeah, let's see. Yeah. Or will the cards be pious? Oh dear. You will not believe what has just turned up. Oh, wait for it. You will not believe what has just turned up.
No, I'm traumatized in advance here.
All right. Who's ready to pull? I've got out of 5.
You go, Lady G.
I've got 3
I'm going to do the quick draw because I've got the puppies here that want to use this as a bridge.
Okay.
So we have her, this was her way to go forward, and these were the choices she made in life. Fishtails, that's not good. and a strong mentality that she was just absolutely putting out there. She also went after her brother. People now are looking at this coming together and judging it. That's not good. And so that's all it's going to tell me on this, that people have come together and they're judging it now. And she did this to enhance her thing. And again, she went after her brother big time because he was outing her as an American Italian. Yeah, she told her brother if he outs her like that, she's going to say he's a pedophile and abused her, was raping her. Yeah.
Oh, not good.
No, was not good.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, Lena, what do you have?
These cards aren't marvelous either. It starts with the Queen of Cups. So she had a huge emotional impact on people. It wasn't just like little sing-along with Buffy stuff. She changed the world in many ways of how people looked at Indigenous stuff. It was a huge emotional accomplishment at the time. But I've got a card that it was maybe strategic. Right. Queen of Pentacles. Funnily enough, I didn't get the mother vibe for this, which it often is. I get it more here. I think there might have been a story on her mother's side or something, a bit of something, or something to do with the mother or the mother supporting her and doing it or something. The mother was involved. This is all these years to a certain extent resting on her laurels, and she doesn't want to have to speak up. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't, would you? You know. And the Ten of Swords. I think good, bad, or ugly, you know, with this Ten of Swords, it's going to sort of do her in the sense of her legacy. I hope cancel culture doesn't take over and just, you know, take her off the playlists and things.
Yeah, and trying to raise her positive.
Yes, I would rather see a react, not just with Buffy, but with other people, because every great artist, musician thing, if you took into account who was a domestic abuser and thing, we wouldn't have anything to look at or listen to, right? You know. So my point is this, that I hope it doesn't take her legacy. And there's nothing wrong with disclaimers. This is what I think should happen. You still have that artist up there or something, you know, but you have a disclaimer. There is dispute about this issue. Has to go on every video or whatever.
Yeah. She's got the fabulous music. My country, 'tis of thy people you're dying. That, you know, that song was just hallmark for the Indigenous.
Yeah. And did have a reaction in those communities that was huge too. So
right. Well, I'm going to, before I read my cards, which I'm just going to, as you know, I'm just going to read the cards because I don't have a clues about this person, but there's been a few comments. So first of all, I want to say thank you, Mara Pemberton, for your donation, Kathleen O'Malley for your donation as well. So I'll just click those up. Thank you so much, guys. That sweet picture of that doggy there. And thank you, Mara Pemberton. Now, yeah, it really does help. So I've just starred a few comments here. So Pam Pierce says, who cares? She's a tireless advocate for Indigenous rights. Yeah. Then the next person says, Salome said, well, if she's done good in the world, it shouldn't matter too much. Oh dear, outing her brother is a bit amusing. Oh dear, that's not good. That's not good. She's not very nice then. Right? And then we also, Christine Parker said, God is alive, magic is afoot is a great Buffy song. I like Star Walker too. Here, Buffy, my heart at Wounded Knee. All right, I'll check that one out. And then MLR says, it was still alive, folks. Yeah. So we are divided in the chat. Now, as I said before, I don't have a clue who this person is, so I just read the cards. Here we go. Don't judge me. The first card that comes out, look at this. The High Priestess.
Oh, dear.
Sorry. Right. Okay, I shouldn't laugh, but look, the High Priestess comes out. So this, for me, I interpret this as two things. This, if I take this card literally, what this says to me is, it's as if this lady were the High Priestess, channeling these energies and speaking on behalf of the Native American Indians, and that she had reached maybe a kind of a cult-like status where she was allowed to somehow speak for them, channel their woes and stuff. And she did that with great creativity and music, because the moon is very associated with music. But let's not forget, the moon is also, when we think of the moon card, the moon can also be what? Deceptive. It can be duplicitous. And the High Priestess is known as, can be a highly manipulative card. Not all that is seen in moonlight is seen clearly. This speaks, though, about her spirituality and her ability to tune in with the higher consciousness. But this can also suggest maybe all is not what it seems, particularly when we look at the second card. Yeah. Now, as we know, the second card is the obstacle card, but often talks about what is sticking in the craw. And you remember I said, if a certain 7 of Swords turns up, then maybe she's lying. There it is, folks. You saw me shuffle. There it is. So here there's a sense of what? Trying to get away with something. We always read the cards in context. This is a very mysterious card anyway at the best of times. But when it turns up next to the thief, oh, we've lost Lady G. Her battery's out. Bless her, bless her. Darling, we will see you soon. Let's find out what that charge thing is. Lady G will be back next week unless she can find a solar panel charger. Oh no, she's back. She's back. Wonderful, wonderful. So when you see these two together, yeah, not so good. If we look here, we can see the influence that she had on government. Yeah. So of course, here we look at this is the Hierophant, which of course, now isn't this interesting? We've got the High Priestess and the High Priest. It shows she made a tremendous impact upon government policy, all of this stuff. Maybe the traditions and views, the way that people looked at the Native American Indians as well. She became an authority. This is one of the cards of ultimate authority. So here she is, really kind of with the divine masculine and the divine feminine together. Yeah, together. However, the shadow side of this card, as in with Mike Johnson, it can be dictatorial as well. It can deal a lot with dogma and maybe forcing people or situations to think in a certain way. The next card that comes up, look at this, another major arcana, Justice. Oh dear. So this is a bit like, you know, who pulled the Judgment card? It was you, wasn't it, Lady G? Did you pull the Judgment card?
No.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? So in a way, this is Justice kind of coming out. So maybe this is a time of reckoning for her, where there's a certain level of justice, quite simply, coming from what? The 10 of Pentacles. So this deals with institutions, establishment. But guess what? One of the shadow connotations of this card can mean washing dirty linen in public and scandals in family as well, because it's the only card that depicts all generations. So what this suggests to me is this could affect the way people perceive her, but she obviously had a huge impact, and maybe her record should not be discounted if she did good as well. That's all I can say. Anything else to add to that, ladies?
Yeah, I always thought that she was indigenous. She's got such a different look. I would have never suspected Italian in a million years. When you see her, you'll see what I mean. She's got a very different look and a very different voice when she sings.
Wow. Was she adopted, maybe? Was she adopted, or she just...
No, I don't think we can reach for that.
All right. Okay.
It is cultural appropriation. But what the real question is to be answered really by Native Americans. How do they feel about this story?
Yeah, I think so. I think yeah, the final judgment should lie with them. So I'm glad we answered that. That was fascinating. Great question in from See Kingsman, that you could see that there was a lot that came out of that. Someone was asking again about Judge Eileen Cannon having any connection with Jeffrey Epstein when she was growing up. We read on that a couple of weeks ago. So go, I would suggest popping back and having a look at that show. And let's see what I think we should. Shall we take a look? Let's take a look at Dr.Lena and PP tapes. Yeah. Two people.
Oh, two people. No, okay.
Two people of ours. Two people of ours. So, Dejoy Joe has asked, good morning to you, HoGaLena and Lady G. Maybe you know, for a lighter question, and they go on to say Trump is trying to sue Christopher Steele in the UK for his PP antics. How will it go? Thank you, guys. So that was one person. And then the next person has now, this is Sarah Hellis, and she's giving a reminder here. So she's saying, hello, Hogarth and ladies, just reminding you about this one if you have time. Thank you. And she says, still ongoing, she gives more detail, in London is Dr.Lena's legal battle against Orbis Business Intelligence over contents of his infamous Christopher Steele dossier. Lawyers are attempting to disprove its negative charges and defend Trump's personal and professional image, claiming the dossier was calculated to embarrass him and that it breached data protection laws. Steele has claimed that the case against him shows frivolous and abbrevious legal proceedings, echoing a US federal judge's earlier determination when he dismissed the same case. Steele has suggested that the animus towards him and his company was influenced when Trump discovered his prior relationship with Ivanka, which Steele has described as personal. He says he visited Ivanka at Trump Tower and has been friendly with her for some years. Now, apparently this really, oh, she's gone again. Apparently this really set Trump off. So let's just read around that energy, Lena.
Okay. Just a little bit on this with Christopher Steele. He was commissioned to do the research he did. He said at the time and beyond, I cannot verify every incident. These are things I have heard. I'm in the process of what I can verify, I will. So that has to be kept in mind. So I think it's a more interesting question if we look at it just as the court case.
Yeah.
Opposed to whether he did or didn't do anything.
Exactly. And I'm certain Dr.Lena did, by the way. There's plenty Dr.Lena has done, which we know. And the Russians, of course, are superb at compromat. They invented the word.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. A word and a concept.
All right, so we're asking. What was that? Oh, pardon, Lena.
But there's more.
Okay.
So what are we reading? What are we reading on? What's our question?
Indeed. What
would you Trump is suing Christopher Steele in England. He tried in the US. A judge threw it out. He's now moved the case to England. So let's just read on that, that case.
Yeah, let's read on the energy around that. And someone's saying, Connie B is saying, for entertainment purposes only, of course. Connie B, thank you for reminding us. Indeed, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you've been entertained, etc. All right, let's read on these PP tapes then, and that will probably bring things to a close.
Well, no, I think we should go an extra few minutes because we had a sort of 15-minute rave before we
Well, that's true. We did have a rant. I'm sure there's another question in there somewhere, but let's have a look.
Okay, what's happening here?
Be interesting if we get the Ace of Cups, isn't it? Which deals a lot with water.
Yeah, I don't. I've got the King of Cups.
Water everywhere, folks.
Oh my God. Well, yes. Okay. Do you want me to go? I can
Go for it.
Okay. So it kicks off with the case itself. Here's the Hierophant representing the courts and all that stuff, followed by the Justice card, right? So, yes, the case is going along. Then I do get the King of Cups. But in this context, I think this is Trump being emotional about this because it's very personal. Let's face it, if nothing else, it's very personal. So he's sort of wounded by this. And this is often my Biden card. And when it's positive, you know, it's an older man who is very aware of people's emotions and When it's not nice, and it isn't nice here, and it's coming under the Justice card, it's vengeful and petty, and he's desperate. He's just throwing out things. It will come to, I think it's a case of careful what you wish for. As this goes forward quickly, it's going to bring out more dirt. So on the Yeti, I think, you know, around the whole case. But I think it will be the star for Christopher Steele, because I think he never came out and actually said this happened. It was massively scandalous. Every news agency in the world picked it up simultaneously and rolled with it. But I think in the end, it'll be the same result as the US. He'll be okay.
Lady G, what do you have?
Well, in the center of it, I have the man that's holding on to the power with this going forward. Above it, we have the fishtails, and underneath of it, the manipulation. Now, going into it, in the past, we have this was being juggled, and there was new information that's going to be coming out. Yes, this is going forward, and they're looking overseas. And the timing on this, what's going on. The challenge is, you know, what's the next action? You know, and of course, Trump wants to block it. He doesn't want to see any of it because above it, I think this is Russia's power of compromise, and he is facing a loss on that. Spill PP.
Yeah. Lots of water as well, didn't you? Yeah, you got lots of cups, lots of water. Wow. All right. Well, what do I have? So here's Trump embattled. He's like, oh my God, if I don't have enough on my plate.
Why would he even go there? Everyone else has moved on.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Trump is exasperated by this. He's like, for goodness sake, he was probably hoping that these bigger cases will at least make people forget about the PP tapes. So he's feeling embattled, you know, just strung up against the wall, but he's trying to persevere. Look at the obstacle card. Ace of Pentacles. So we see here, yeah, look, we know what this is about. It's beyond the PP tapes. It's the whole context about it. It shows the funding from where Russia, of course, all of the monies, all of these different things. This is really what he's worried about. I mean, this is quite literally a golden shower, isn't it, folks? Forgive it.
I'll never look at this the same way again.
But it is. I mean, look, ding, 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 ding. You know, they've really got him by the ghoulies. Look here. Here's Trump pondering what he's done. Look at all these yellow pentacles, everyone. He's like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Will this ever leave me? Because, of course, this is, I sometimes refer to this card as what? ROI, your return on investment. It shows you reap what you sow, this card. And sometimes the person could be said to be looking on with dissatisfaction. Sometimes they may just be pondering. But I think in the case of Dr.Lena, this is with dissatisfaction, because it's like this bad smell. It's like this bad penny that won't go away. It keeps haunting him. What is this all about? Look at that. The devil. So, of course, this is talking about what? Vice, licentiousness, the inability to control one's impulses. This can also talk about what? Drugs, drugs, debauchery. Yeah. Here, you can see Trump is pondering his past debaucheries and he's like, oh, no, they're still around. But here, another kind of water card, this time temperance. I will not sully temperaments with any inference because I just can't. This card is too sweet. But what I would say is, look, she is pouring water in the cup up and down, and basically it's almost like Trump overall wants this just to be calm and balanced. This is one of the few cases he's not prepared to talk about. Have you noticed? Pretty quiet on this one. Pretty quiet. So Dr.
Lena, I even heard it was on.
Yeah, he's just wanting to kind of keep that quiet, and he's like, you know what? I'll keep flying with my bombast on other stuff, but here we can see he's trying to restore balance. So this whole case for him is a nightmare because it is deeply embarrassing and would actually lead to potential revelations, more coming out, should it be pursued and should he lose it. There we are. Anything else to add to that, ladies, before we squeeze in one more?
No.
All right. Okay. So,
Let's do it.
This here as well, Kathleen. The chickens have come home to roost. Yes, they have. They certainly have. All right. So, which one? I'll leave it to you, ladies. Which one do you want to do? There is a judge. There's a question which has come in from Lita Artist, which is, please, when will Judge Eileen Cannon make an exit? We need sanity in our judicial system. So that's one. But then there's another question here, which is from Pearl Ruby. And she says, hello, HoGaLe's. Could you guys please read on the bizarre aspect of a white newlywed couple aged 25 years old, so talking about Matthew Johnson and his wife, adopting a black male aged 14 years old. Maybe it's me, but I can't seem to wrap my brain around the circumstances of that happening. Which one do you want to read on? Eileen Cannon or that?
I think the Mike Johnson, yeah.
Yeah? All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look.
I've seen two versions of this. One is newlyweds adopted this boy, and then other people wrote to me privately saying, no, he wasn't married.
That's what I heard.
And he took guardianship of the boy.
Which is very unusual. Now, if we just think about this, guys, it's not very often that 25-year-olds are allowed to adopt, let alone adopt someone who's, who's 14 years old. I've never heard of it before. I don't know. I'm not American. How would I know what the rules are? Certainly odd. So shall we read the energy around that and see what comes out? Because you know what it's like with these Bible questions.
Yeah, we could do a one card.
Let's do a one card pull. Excellent. Thanks for that suggestion. Let's do a one card pull to see the energies around this Mike Johnson. And they're almost always hypocrites and projecting, their ideas of morality.
Oh, and then we should have the bard on Mike Johnson.
Of course.
We haven't had the bard yet for him.
All right, one card pull, and then the bard will close the show. All right. Mike Johnson, we pick one card. What's the energy around this adoption? And did anyone else notice as well? Considering he's the first child, he's not in the family pictures. You see that? I mean, what was he doing? Well, I guess they had him out the back, sweeping the stairs. All right, let's have a look. After 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Well. Okay, Lena, how do you interpret your card?
Well, I think there was a bit of legal wrangling. Maybe it was a guardianship and not an adoption or something like that. There was a bit of legal wool over the eyes here.
Which could be picked up in Lady G's card. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, I see this as this something they don't want to get out. They don't want anybody to see or hear or look further into.
Yeah, because that can be the don't look here card.
Yeah.
And is my card maybe suggesting even more? I get the lovers.
Yeah.
I get the lovers. I let you guys join the dots on that.
Yeah.
I let you guys join the dots on that. When you put that all together, my God, the one card pulls, sometimes they're just in fact, people are saying we should do a show which is just one card pulls. They can be devastating.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we will. Maybe for a Christmas special. Maybe a Christmas special we'll do it.
Yeah.
One card pulls.
Electra says he didn't adopt him because the paperwork was too hard and the red tape. That's what I was picking up on. So he informally plucked this. It was still a child.
That's even worse. Oh my God. Right, make of that what you will, folks. All right, let's see what Shakespeare has to say about Mike Johnson.
Oh, yes, please.
I think it's your turn.
I think it is, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So here we go. So Lena, you know the procedure now. You tell me where to stop, and then we'll see what.
And stop.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is from Much Ado About Nothing. So I'm going to read this page and then turn it over. If she should make tender of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit. Ooh, very interesting. Very interesting. Let's turn the page over. And then he did, and this is from All's Well That Ends Well. He did love her, sir, as a gentleman loves a woman. He loved her, sir, and love her not.
Very cryptic bard day.
Very cryptic from the bard.
I think they really kind of feed into what we just read.
I think so.
And as Melody points out here, now 40, this guy, he doesn't want anything to do with Johnson, which would say a little something about something.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't it interesting, that element of love, but not love?
Yeah.
And, you know, the lover's card coming up and then the two of swords and then your card. There might be something there, folks. I think there's something there. Well, can you believe it? The time has gone in an absolute flash. We had, what is it, 1,478, I think it was.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Indeed. Amazing.
Can I just read one more comment? According to this viewer, Johnson reportedly frequented a gay bar in college, and you're not the only person to say that. I have had emails to that effect.
Yeah.
Think New Orleans.
Why is that not a surprise?
Yeah. It's always the same. It's projection.
Gay conversion therapy and all that. They're always the worst.
Yeah, they're the worst. They're the worst. You know, comparing this and that to bestiality and whatever. She needs to look a little bit closer to home, clearly. Anyway, so thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening.
Thank you guys so much. And put your questions in the community tab on HoGaLe's page.
Absolutely. So I always, each week, I always, maybe like a day before, at least half a day or a day before, I will post the questions for people to leave their questions in the community tab. That's the best place to put them, because the chat, as you can see, goes by so much. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, and the ladies' channels are in the description as well. Thank you for joining us. Lady G, well done for coming through with the technical difficulties and the batteries and the time and everything. Lena, thank you so much for joining us. So you're not back in Australia yet, or am I getting confused?
I'm in Australia. I'm in Bondi, and tomorrow I fly home.
Oh, I see. I get it now. So we will be back next week. Oh,
there you are.
Sorry, Lady G. Oh, I thought you said something. So we will be back next week, of course, as usual. Thanks so much for the questions. We got some juicy ones tonight, didn't we, ladies? Very, very interesting. So we'll see you next week. Thank you for all the support. Much love. And bye-bye for now. All right. See you, folks. Cheers.